Thank you so much, Governor Stitt, and hello, everybody. So these days, I spend most of my time in DC running American's Solutions Department. That's the Department of Energy. But I can tell you, as a former governor, I know that our states are really where the work gets done. I was the governor of Michigan when the auto industry was on the brink of collapse. I looked into the eyes of too many workers who lost their jobs through no fault of their own. I will never forget their pain. And in Michigan, embracing Car 2.0, the electric vehicle, that diversification helped our state to rebound. We started creating jobs again. We started building on our existing supply chain, matching the same skills that auto workers already had. And when I took this job as the Secretary of Energy, I took it on the condition that we would do everything in our power to increase opportunity for every American worker. And as governors and state legislators, I know that you also understand that clean energy is the future. It's a massive economic opportunity. It's why you're the ones who are pioneering the next frontiers in energy, including right there in Oklahoma, where 44% of the electricity comes from clean sources, and where Canoe is going to start manufacturing electric vehicles in 2 years' time. You know that we risk being left behind by the rest of the world if we don't invest now in building clean technologies here at home. What we're talking about is a $23 trillion global market for clean energy technologies by 2030, at a minimum, 23 trillion. So President Biden wants America to corner that market, because you better believe our economic competitors are out there gunning for it. And that's exactly what this administration has been working on since day one. Here at DOE, we have moved at lightning speed to work toward those goals, mobilizing more than $2 billion for research and development, demonstration, and deployment of clean technology since January 20th. That means getting as much solar and wind built in America as possible. Oklahoma and Texas are already leaders in that. But we also know that solar and wind alone aren't going to get us to 100% clean power. And that's why DOE, we are investing in emerging energy technologies that are being developed and demonstrated in every part of the country, including in your states. We're talking like hydrogen, like the Air Liquide plant that I visited in Houston, Texas in May. We're talking about carbon capture and storage, like the technologies our national labs are testing in West Virginia and Tennessee, and what you're doing with your board to advance CCUS across the Southeast. Another technology is advanced nuclear energy, like the Terra Power facility that we just opened in Wyoming, or we just broke ground on. And we're talking geothermal, which can be deployed almost anywhere. So these investments are part of our commitment to the fossil fuel communities that have powered our nation for over a century, because all of these industries demand similar skills to the skills that fossil fuel workers already have. As we add all this clean energy capacity, we've got to make sure, on top of that, that our grid is ready to get that power where it's needed. And Oklahoma, for example, is the energy crossroads of America. There's a golden opportunity for Oklahoma to expand and upgrade transmission systems to serve the entire area, the entire region. And it's more than bringing clean energy online. We really need to make our grid more resilient as well. You only need to think about Hurricane Ida, which you saw the pictures, knocked a transmission tower into the Mississippi River and left over 1 million people in 8 states without power. Louisiana, Mississippi hit the hardest. You need only think about that Colonial Pipeline hack in May, which left millions of people struggling to find gasoline. You know, these 21st century threats of climate-related extreme weather and cyber attacks are only going to get worse. And our infrastructure, our grid infrastructure in particular, is woefully unprepared to handle them. So DOE's made $8.25 billion available in loans for expanding and upgrading transmission to start addressing this. But we need to make a much bigger investment, honestly, if we have any hope of solving this problem. And right now, we have that once in a generation opportunity to invest in our energy infrastructure and to create millions of jobs and to position America to lead the 21st century economy. And it starts with that bipartisan infrastructure deal, which makes an historic clean energy investment in transmission, more than $25 billion for demonstration projects in carbon capture and storage, billions in geothermal, advanced nuclear, hydrogen, direct air capture, so much more. It'll dedicate $21 billion to reclaiming abandoned mines and to cap orphaned oil and gas wells. Lots of jobs there. And to clean up Superfund and brownfield sites, creating more skills matched jobs for fossil fuel workers. And that piece of legislation is going to invest more than $7 billion for critical mineral projects, for battery manufacturing, direct investments in coal communities. So the bipartisan infrastructure deal is a massive accomplishment. But let me just say this, to give America truly a competitive edge in the 21st century economy, we also need to pass the rest of President Biden's Build Back Better agenda. And that includes the Clean Electricity Performance Program, which is going to put your residents to work up and down the supply chain and lower energy costs by incentivizing cheaper clean energy deployment. We're talking block grants for state and local governments, tax credits for businesses that use clean energy. And it would make sure that we manufacture these technologies here in America with supply chains that are sourced here in America. And all of this means one thing, or maybe three things: jobs, jobs, jobs. We've got to get all of this across the finish line to maximize the opportunity for our people. And once we do, you'll see more dollars invested and jobs created and retained in your great states. So thank you so much for having me today. I wish you a great rest of your meeting, and let's do this.